Hey guys, just another video. Gonna do it a little bit differently today since it is a Friday and I wanted some market data prior to making the next video. So we have it. This is one of the what I call the twin accounts. Um, this one and IB pretty much roll together, do the same things, or sometimes go long on one while boxing it in the other account just in case. Oh, what a week. It has been insane. So as everybody and their mom in the small cap land has probably told you, things have woken up quite a bit thanks to SPI, an energy stock that took off, another low float. It's kind of like starting a match on a fire, you know. Those low floaters, you know they're really going to burn good, so you throw them, you light them, and man, the whole sector took off. And it's day 3 now, technically. So that started on Wednesday when SPI made its run. And then this is just another one of those. We're playing on the downside now. Day 3 is usually a good time to start looking for shorts. Things are up too much. The others are um, in the losers list. So here you have SUNW, POLA, PECK, and then there's SPI. So that tells me, hey, this sector is about done for now at least, until something else may happen. And so you learn over time to really take advantage of those moves. One of my first was the China sector. Oh, I don't know when that was. Maybe about 2 years ago, maybe late 2017. And hopefully we get a chance to look at some of these facts. One fact we can certainly look at is let's take a look at SPI right now. And you see here, this was the 23rd, which was Wednesday. And of course he took advantage of that, maybe a little too much. Nah. But you see the normal fall. You had a halt in here as well. So it caused some extreme action. And they were holding these pretty quick this time around. Of course, you'd have to. I mean, this thing was up so much. I wanted to get more screenshots, but it was up, I want to say like at 1.4 thousand%. And so you have these normal, and then it gets halted. Then it was a good bounce actually to play after the halt, after it dropped, because everybody wanted it to go right back up, you know. The movement was very predictable, and it just after a while you get used to these. You know, they can vary point to point, but that's why you keep your size minimal if you're not sure. And you need to get used to that anyways. Minimal size is really a great thing. It should not be frowned upon. Capital preservation is the number one rule in all of this. If you like your account, keep it. Okay? And what we'll go through over time will hopefully help you do just that. Now, similar to that spike, the halt, the drop, and a bounce, more of what we just call framework. One of Timothy Sykes's one of his deals. I'll just call it deal. I don't know. I mean, you can get into the fact that it's also a video, a DVD that he does offer. But just very similar to that action you see on the daily chart, very similar action. Now, I often go by Fibonacci's and retracements, and once this has reached particular levels and there's no further news and nothing adding to the fire, is when I choose to short most of the time. Again, small size until you're absolutely sure and you're breaking levels on the way down. That's breaking support is the number one thing you need to happen to be more and more confident in the trade you took. So shorting, it gives you a little bit more time. Now going long on this also could be talked about. It's the movement in the candle action, it's the volume, it's a little bit of everything. Speaking of which, you know, our last video we made a indicator that was all our own, so I'm going to use that instead of the one I see here. So we're going to just go to edit studies for the moment. We're going to take off volume average, removed. And then we're going to go to studies again and add study. And it should be near the top. All the way up here, my volume. That's the one we made the last video. And there it is. And I got to go through this again. I found another way to do this, guys, by the way. We'll talk about that in hopefully a future video. Instead of just making a new one, just copy the one that's there, right? Add study, no. Edit studies, yes. Go to my volume. This is tedious, but I got to show you over and over because it gets you into the habit. And even right now, what was it? I think it was Wednesday, and it was during the market hours, and I had to go and make some changes. And I'm glad I know how to do it and where things are at, because it can save you a whole lot of time. Customize. And, of course, I can't see it. All right. Volume average is a line, volume is a histogram, and boom, baby. There you go. So, with all that being said, that's SPI. Later, after SPI, or somewhat at the same time, you had POLA. Very similar move. I want to say they were all halted at one point. It was hilarious. I'd never seen anything quite like it. JE was part of it. Coming down today. A lot of this, though, is share availability, and with TradeStation, I was lucky to find PPSI right now, which should be coming on this list shortly, actually. Here we go. And so you see here, it doesn't say HB, so it's not hard to borrow. You also see it trying to come back a little bit here, which is fine with me. Looking at this daily chart, I know where it's headed. You know, if this was its own merit and this company put something out and they had something going on, but for the most part, there was no fundamental analysis other than the fact that it was a sector run. The only other thing it technically did to its advantage is the simple fact that it just doesn't have a lot of shares. If we were to go to one of the screens, it's going to read all of that. I'm sorry, but that's hilarious. I don't know if you heard all that. I'll have to check when we're done editing, but that's one of the downsides to having the voice on. Sometimes TradeStation will just put commercials up in here, like, you know, they think it's a good thing. I can't stand it, but in this case it was kind of funny. One of the things, if this goes over the yellow and comes back down, we'll get another alert saying it's reaching the low of day, that it's, you know, approaching low of day. It's just one of the things that it did right here, for example, where it went up there for a moment, came back down. We had our alert, so this might be something cool. We'll just have to see. Got everything pretty well set. So this won't necessarily be a coding video. This is just kind of putting it all together. I wanted to do a recap of some of the things we had done. And I'm watching for that alert right now. We probably won't get it now that I said it out loud. As soon as I stop recording, you know it'll happen. So looking at the daily chart, we see that this volume spikes were basically just sector based. If we were to try to bring up the news, let's see here, keeps changing positions. So one of the biggest things obviously is this right here. You can say it's one of the smallest things, but one of the biggest factors, 3.2 million float. You've got to be kidding me. So every time this sector really moves, this thing will probably have something to do with it, or be an after effect of it, however you word it. Um, with that being said, you got to be careful, especially if you're on the short side. You've got to be fairly certain, and you keep your size small once again until you're absolutely sure that you're in the right direction. I was doing great yesterday, and then after hours is when it spiked again, and that's when I knew there was going to be somewhat of a fight going on. Let me see if I can show that to you. So after hours started here with this dotted line. Also, if you don't have after hours on your chart, just go ahead and go to time frame, sessions, and then click US stock with pre and post market. That's going to give you everything it has. So it wasn't until it started making its downfall. So here we had it popping like crazy. Like I can't say never, but I don't often see these kind of pops and then full retracements on the pops. That could have tricked some shorts right there. But then we broke that high day, and that's when I knew, okay, not only is this thing up stupid, but these full retracements kind of let me know that there's some shorts involved and they're taking position. So it started off small with this thing. Mind you, it's only a $1.74 stock, right? At that time. And so just kept it fairly light. And then just because grabbed 10 after hours when I saw it being stupid. Didn't want to get extreme because I knew this was also a possibility of a run-up that holds that next day. Fortunately, pre-market we had a drop. The markets have been, as you know, pretty weak overall. And they're actually green right now, all three of them, but not by much. And that's what's been happening too lately. You'll have a strong market in the morning, and then you'll have this afternoon collapse. That's on the markets themselves. So anyway, not until I really knew it was breaking support did I took profits in the account going long, because I just saw the popability, the spikeability of this thing. And so it got out right about here with just like not much at all. And it's been on a downhill climb ever since. Or downhill climb. Wow, that makes sense. It's been rolling downhill ever since. So this little pop here I could have added on, but I just wanted to make this video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, and subscribe if you want to, if you haven't already. Bye.